Amazon Prime Day deals a scam or the best thing to happen to your wallet since the original Black Friday? Hello Internet, welcome to Style Theory, the show that never jokes when it comes to saving you money. And as every smart shopper knows, not every deal is as good as it looks at first glance. So enter today's challenger, Amazon Prime Day.
Last year, Prime Day generated over $14 billion in sales.
Which is, I guess, how the newlyweds were able to, let me check again, rent Venice for 3 days. What timeline is this?
Anyway, this year, Amazon is primed to make even more money, especially now that Prime Day has expanded into a 4-day event.
I'm calling it now. Next year, Amazon Prime Week. But there's a dark side to Amazon Prime Day that isn't all savings and sparkles.
Today we are taking a closer look at the Prime Day holiday event to find out if it's the real deal or if those deals are really just scams wrapped in pretty Amazon packaging.
Yep, you heard me right. Amazon Prime Day is a holiday. A shopping holiday.
While Amazon was technically founded in 1994, it officially launched as an online bookstore in February of 1995. So when 2015 rolled around, Amazon wanted to do something a little special for its 20th birthday.
Yeah, okay. A lot of this was probably Amazon's way of celebrating its own accomplishments. However, it was also a way to celebrate something else. Amazon's Prime members. At the time, Amazon Prime was also hitting a milestone. It was turning 10. Happy birthday!
And over the course of those 10 years, Prime members became a giant source of revenue for Amazon as a whole. Not only were people paying $70+ to access lower prices and free shipping,
the Prime Video service that we know today wouldn't launch until 2016.
According to an article for Harvard Business School, Prime members were spending nearly double the money of non-Prime members.
Amazon Prime's perks are designed to hit that dopamine center in our brain that loves instant and fast rewards. When you can get items within 24 or 48 hours, it encourages you to keep coming back and shop again.
As former Amazon executive James Thompson points out, you can get so many products quickly delivered to you that it's almost like a drug.
And when you're paying a premium to get that service, it makes you want to get your money's worth, which is a mentality that encourages you to spend more in order to make that premium price worth it.
In 2015, Prime was bringing in roughly $4.47 billion on subscriptions alone. And by 2023, it was over $40 billion.
That's more than 14 times the revenue of that first year. And it was more than Amazon had made from its Black Friday sales the previous year. So yeah, making those customers feel special was a small price to pay to keep them happy and keep them subscribed. And of course, it gave unsubscribed people a reason to test out their Prime service. I mean, despite what we know now, at the time it was a huge gamble. There was no guarantee that Amazon would recoup the losses of this once-in-a-lifetime celebration. But clearly, it paid off.
The first Prime Day ever brought in just under $1 billion of profit and hundreds of thousands of new Prime subscribers.
I know, big numbers are big. But I can't stress to you enough how much this changed everything. Like literally everything.
Not only did Amazon succeed in proving that people would show up for savings, it created a new shopping holiday event, where other events like Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, and Cyber Monday all tried to cash in on that last-minute shopper. Prime Day, as one of the few summer sales events, and the one to do it the most successfully, it didn't really have to compete with other retailers for attention.
Until it did. Because it turns out that when you launch a brand new holiday shopping extravaganza, everyone wants a slice of that money pie.
Amazon was a true influencer, and soon everyone from Target and Walmart to Temu and TikTok Shop have started their own summer holiday sales event, all of which are centered around Prime Day, with the goal of cashing in on customers' plans to spend big while savings are high.
But while that first Amazon Prime Day was a celebration of savings, over time those savings have turned kind of sus. Come closer. There's a rumor going around that Amazon might be faking you out when it comes to how good those savings are on those Prime Day deals. But you want to know what isn't fake? How hungry filming these videos actually makes me.
I'm very much a power through until I'm done kind of person, so having to stop to put together a meal mid-shoot can kill my momentum, which is why I wanted to find a service that could take the prep out of my meals while still giving me the fuel I needed to keep going. And I got that with Factor, our partner and MVP for making this video happen. Factor has taken the stress out of my meal planning, and it's done it with fresh, never frozen foods that keep me going through long shoot days. And you get to pick what you get from their constantly changing menu. I mean, no one likes to get bored by eating the same meals day after day after day, right? My favorite from this week's selection was their 3-bean vegan chili. As a vegetarian, finding a service that will not only cater to my diet, but make it tasty and filling as well is rare. But Factor has made finding that combo as easy as scanning your QR code, like the one on screen right now. If you scan that QR code or go to factor75.com and use code 50styletheory at checkout, you can get 50% off your first Factor box. Plus, Factor's thrown in some free shipping as a little cherry on top of that sweet discount. A discount, by the way, that, unlike some other discounts we'll be talking about today, is actually the real deal. My recommendation? Use this as a chance to sample all that Factor has to offer. Besides their meals, I'm partial to their juices as an alternative to reaching for yet another cup of coffee. It's made sticking to my goal of drinking less caffeine way easier than if I'd done it all on my own. So what are you waiting for? Scan the QR code on screen or click the link in the description and use code 50styletheory today to get started on making your meals and your life a little easier.
And now that I've been refueled, I'm ready to take on Amazon's so-called Prime Day deals. Let me set the scene. You have been saving up to make some big purchases this year. Maybe you are moving into a new dorm and want to level up your space, or it's the first year that you've had your own money and you want to buy Christmas presents for your whole family. And obviously you need to pick the right one because it's the first time you've ever bought your own presents. Suddenly, you get an email from Amazon who's promising you some huge deals on items that you've been wishlisting since last year. I'm talking 30% off, 40% off. It sounds like a miracle from the shopping gods.
Until you do a little digging. There are two major problems with many, though not all, of these deals. The first, fake sales.
I know they say fake it until you make it, but in this instance, we're not talking about inspiring confidence in yourself. We're talking about someone straight up lying to your face.
A fake sale is when an item looks like it's discounted, when in reality the base price of that item was raised. This means that when that discount is applied for Prime Day, you are actually paying the regular base price before it was inflated.
Gross.
For example, in 2022, nearly 14% of the top 10,000 items on Amazon actually raised their prices by 3% for Prime Day. And then again in 2023, you saw the Apple Watch was on sale for $329, a stated $70 off its supposed list price.
Except that was a lie.
You can see in this chart from Camel, which is a site that helps track prices over time, that the Apple Watch's price actually spiked to an all-time high in the 2 months leading up to Prime Day, making it pretty convenient for them to then mark it down at a huge discount. Now, it's not always this drastic. Sometimes it's a little more sneaky. Sometimes a seller, knowing that the demand for their product is likely to go up on Prime Day, may gradually increase their prices over time, so that when that big 40% off discount hits, it's actually more like 10% off when you look at the price history.
TLDR, depending on the item and the seller, if you're not keeping track of that price history, you might end up paying equal to or more than that original price. And then you have problem number 2, the FOMO effect.
FOMO, or fear of missing out for any of you boomers in the chat, is a powerful sales trick. When something is marketed as limited edition or as a sale that's only available for a limited time, like say, only for Prime Day, it encourages people to buy things that they might have otherwise waited on, or, never have bought at all. It's a tactic that uses our brain's wiring against us. People, by nature, tend to compare themselves to other people. And compare what they have to what their peers have. So the idea of missing out on something that someone else may get causes us to panic and hit that buy now button.
Think about it kind of like hitting that subscribe button. You don't have to solo tap that button, but if you don't, you may miss out on fun things like new uploads or polls where we decide future episodes or how we're going to change up the decor. For instance, we did a poll recently asking what you guys associate with me, and 57% of you said killer heels, and not the blue suit of our logo. Maybe we should change that. But doesn't that make you sad that you missed out on being able to vote in that poll? And don't you want to be able to vote in future polls? Well, you can do that by hitting the subscribe button in 3, 2, 1, huzzah! Glad you're here and that you now understand how FOMO works.
But unlike our polls, which do have a limited runtime, these so-called limited time sales do not. While countdown timers and advertisements about limited stock can make you think that you must buy now, once you take a look at the price history, you start to see through the hype to the truth. Many of those limited time items were already on sale or had previously been on sale for even less than their Prime Day discounts.
But because those ads are telling you that Amazon Prime Day is a limited time event, it makes you think that you have to buy it now to get that good saving. When in reality, you can probably find that item at the same, similar, or better price throughout the year. And now, on top of all of that, Amazon has introduced invite-only sales, which is when a seller has to approve you for the opportunity to buy its item at a sale price. Oh, what? Why won't you just take my money?
Well, it's because the temptation of an invite-only deal raises your likelihood of going through with the sale and actually buying the item.
Tricky, 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 Amazon.
So tricky, in fact, that it raises a bigger, more dangerous question. What can we do to stop the lies? Or will we be stuck in this price purgatory forever?
It seems like Amazon and the sellers that use its platform have all the power in this situation. However, that might be a true limited time offer.
Customers are getting smarter and finding tools to help them. In this episode, I've mentioned sites like Camel that help you look at an item's price history. But there are lots of tools available to help you know if you are getting a sale or being swindled. Browser extensions like Keepa help you keep track of specific items throughout the year to guarantee that you get the best price.
I'm not gonna lie, it kind of sucks that it always seems to come down to us, the customers, to keep a business honest. It's a lot of pressure and responsibility, and honestly, it feels like something that the powers that be should be taking care of. So why aren't they?
When it comes to inflating prices, Amazon's terms of service don't explicitly state that it's against the rule.
But of course it wouldn't. It's a thing Amazon only benefits from.
Even if Amazon technically loses money by offering items at a discount, the sheer influx of sales means that they are doing perfectly fine at the end of the day. And if that sale isn't quite the sale being advertised, well, that's more money in the bank.
But it turns out that Amazon is playing a dangerous game, one that comes with its own countdown timer.
Over in Europe, the European Union has a thing called the Price Indication Directive. It's basically their rulebook for discounts. In it, it says that if there is a price reduction, aka a discount, the seller has to show the prior price of the product 30 or more days before said reduction, which is why on sites you'll often see the original price crossed out. And it means that a seller can't just double the price 2 days before a sale and then bring the price back down as a fake 50% off discount.
Though in the US, those rules are a little more gray.
The FTC, or Federal Trade Commission, says that you are not allowed to advertise something as discounted if that discount was based on an artificial inflated price that was established for the purpose of enabling a subsequent offer of a large reduction, which is a fancy way of saying that you can't hike up a price of something just to sell it later at that original price under the guise of a discount.
Meaning that those price hikes to create fake sales are in fact illegal, sort of.
You see, it is still technically legal if the price before the sale was offered in good faith for a reasonably substantial period of time. And of course, not for the purpose of establishing a fictitious higher price on which a deceptive comparison might be based. AKA a fake sale.
Yeah, the problem here is that most of that is pretty hard to enforce. What counts as a substantial period of time? As we saw earlier, most of those price hikes happen a month or two in advance of Prime Day. So, is that substantial? Is that illegal? Who gets to decide? And who's keeping track of that fictitious pricing? Because I'm gonna bet Amazon isn't self-reporting. Well, once again, it comes down to us, the customers, to hold them accountable.
This typically takes the form of a class action lawsuit, which is a lawsuit filed by one or more individuals on behalf of a larger group of affected parties. It's the people's way of fighting back at a large scale, and it works.
A class action lawsuit against JCPenney for overstating the original price of markdown inventory was settled for $50 million.
And brands like Michael Kors and Ann Taylor have also had to pay millions of dollars to settle similar class actions against their pricing.
Customers are getting smarter every day and learning that they don't have to fall victim to tricky marketing just to get the best deal. And so if things continue as they have been for Amazon Prime Day and the sellers that use it to alter their price in bad faith, well, they better watch out because the countdown clock is ticking.
But hey, that's just a theory. A style theory. Keep shopping smart. Coming up next on Style Theory.
What the heck is a labubu, and should you even care?